On YouTube. So today I wanted to do really a new series. So if you guys watched my NFL Draft Big Board series, I actually just finished that one up. So I was looking for a new series to do that I thought would be fun, and I actually came up with two. And the first one is just a daily top 10 for sports. So I'm going to be coming up with top 10 lists for anything I can think about, probably at the time going to be a hot topic in sports, and going to try to relate it to it in a top 10 ranking. Also, I think I announced this before, I will be doing my overall positional rankings of every single position in sports of the 6 major sports, the 4 majors, and then the 2 major college basketball, or college sports, college basketball, college football. Alright, so hop in today with my first list, which is my top 10 NFL fan bases. So I did a college version of this. I'll put the link in the description below. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the format I'm going to be doing for this one is my 5 outside and then the actual top 10 list. So let's start with the 5 outside. So, and also before I start this, obviously there's no, I said this a lot in my other video, there's really no like exact formula to come up with this. For me, it's just obviously the biggest thing is out of personal opinion, but a couple things I take into consideration are just overall size of the fan base, loyalty, and just overall passion. I think those are the 3 biggest things. So start with number 1 on the 5 outside. I got the Oakland Raiders. So the Raiders fan base is obviously very passionate. They're loyal. They haven't really been good in a minute. Like, it's been about 10. They made a Super Bowl 12 years ago when they played the Buccaneers. They were good then. They've been good obviously in the past, but it's been a while for sure. They don't have really fancy anything. The stadium is, in my opinion, one of the worst in the country. But you know what? They still fill it up, and while it might not be the most desirable fan base in the world, it is still a pretty good fan base. So my second is the Washington Redskins, and you know what? They've been loyal for a while. They really haven't been. Okay, let me change up the word loyal, because I think that they are loyal to the team, but they're also way too impatient. I think that's a good way to describe it. If you guys watched their playoff game against, I believe it was the Packers, by about halftime, everyone was gone. Kirk Cousins was having a brutal game, and it just didn't look good on the Redskins, which is why I don't have them in my top 10, among other reasons. So moving on to the next one, it's the Cleveland Browns. I think this is one of the more loyal fan bases in the country. Again, the fact that they still have as decent-sized fan base and as loyal fan base as they do, without having a good season in a really, really long time. I think 2006 was the last time they even had somewhat of a decent season. That does show a lot. So my next one is the Minnesota Vikings, and this one's just out of passion. Obviously, with the Vikings actually doing pretty good now, the fan base is actually showing out quite well. Like I said, they're loyal in the first place, and I like seeing a team like the Vikings do good. It's a good fan base, and again, one of the, lesser bandwagon fan bases in the NFL. It's hard to gauge bandwagon in the NFL, though. Excuse me. So move on to my number 5 fan base, and I've got the Baltimore Ravens, or number 5 on the 5 outside. Again, these are all interchangeable. These aren't actual rankings, and then it would be a top 15. So Baltimore Ravens have a very good fan base. Obviously, they'd been craving football for a little while after the Colts left, packed up and left in the 80s, and then Baltimore Ravens came back around in the late 90s, and really they've been a great fan base ever since. Like I said, Baltimore's a good football city. They are a football city. They do like their baseball, but overall they are very, very loyal to the Ravens. So moving to my top 10, at number 10 I've got the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears just have one of the bigger fan bases in football. It's just really out of the brand name. Now, I haven't spent much of my life around a bunch of Bears fans. They're not the most passionate in the world, like compared to some of the other teams on this list. But also they do show out. They love the Bears. Chicago is a very good sports city, and the Bears are very much a part of that. So moving on to number 9, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. So this one's just really out of pure. So I get it. Eagles fans are dicks. They aren't very loyal, but they are passionate, whether they are hating or they're loving their team. And again, they've got a good-sized fan base, a very, very passionate fan base as well. Moving on to number 8, I got the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seahawks fan base is an interesting one because, like I said, if you want to put a term bandwagon on any fan base, I'd probably say this is the most bandwagon fan base recently in this list. But that's not to take away from the Seahawks fans that have been there since the Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander days, even before that. But like I said, there are a lot of I guess like people like to say Seahawks fans out there that really don't even know who the quarterback was before Russell Wilson. And I mean, like I said, there are fan bases like that. If you just judge this one off pure size and loyalty, or pure size and passion right now, this is one of the most passionate fan bases in all of college football, might be the loudest. But again, that's why they're that high up on the list. So move on to number 7, I've got the Indianapolis Colts. That's my personal favorite team. So speaking as a Colts fan, the passion as a whole, I mean, it's there, but the main thing is loyalty. Even through the 2-14 season a couple years ago, the Lucas Oil Stadium was still sold out. And really, the thing that Colts fans like, I think any fan likes this, but the thing that Colts fans like is having one steady star to watch. It's just something that they become accustomed to, something that we've all become accustomed to, whether it's Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, or take your pick of who it was before that. Really, before that, it was more of the running back sort of deal. For a little bit, you had Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, and like I said, it was a little bit of a struggle for Peyton Manning, though. They did trade away quite a bit of running back talent back in the 90s. Like I said, Marshall Faulk and Eric Dickerson were both members of the Colts. All right, so move on to number 6. I've got the New Orleans Saints. So for me, the Saints are just incredibly loyal. They love that team. They're incredibly passionate. If you want to see a city unite around a Super Bowl, go back and watch the '09 Super Bowl parade, and just see the celebrations in New Orleans. How happy they were when they won that Super Bowl. Just after everything that had happened with Katrina, it was just a big thing for the fan base to get around. And it was, like I said, even being a Colts fan and watching them lose, if there could have been any team we had lost to that year, I would have liked it to be the Saints. Like, I have nothing against the Saints. I think they're a good organization, and I like their fan base actually a lot. So, move on to number 5. I've got the Denver Broncos. So, for me, the Broncos, they just have a little bit of mix of everything. They have again, not extremely passionate, like, compared to some of the other teams above on this list. But the size of it right now, just because of how good they're doing, even when they weren't doing that good, the fan base was still there. The uniqueness of it, I guess that's more of the stadium than the fan base. But again, it's a very loyal fan base. It's a passionate fan base. They also have a very, very good size. Like I said, not anything extreme about it, but nonetheless, still a top 5 fan base in my mind. So, at number 4, I've got the Dallas Cowboys, and obviously any team nicknamed America's team is going to be inside the top 4, and for me, the reason why the Dallas Cowboys aren't higher is because, well, the passion is there for some of them, but the loyalty, I don't know if it is. I mean, the Cowboys will always have fans, but just compared to the top 3 teams, again, they're just not there the way it used to be, I don't think. So, move on to number 3, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, it seems like 1 in 5 football fans you talk to say they're Steelers fans. You can be in any part of the country and that'll happen. And, well, that can really happen for any of these 3 teams. I just think these 3 teams at the top are just in their own group, fan-wise. Just the size of the fan base. It's not necessarily because they're in a big market, actually. All 3 of these teams aren't in that big a market. But I think that just the overall passion, there's a lot of loyalty there, and obviously everything's there in good amounts for the Steelers. I'm not a big Steelers fan, but I can respect the loyalty of their fan base. They love that team. It is definitely the most well-loved team in a city of very well-loved teams, with the Pirates doing good now, and of course the Penguins with hockey. So move on to number 2, and I've got the New England Patriots. So as much as I hate the Patriots, like I really don't like the Patriots. I don't think unless you're a Patriots fan you don't like them at all. But like I said, for the Steelers, you ask 1 in 5 people, or 1 in 5 football fans who there's a fan of, and they probably say Steelers, at least one of them. You ask 1 in 3 people, it feels like it'd be the Patriots. Now, obviously the Patriots have fans everywhere. They love their team. They love Tom Brady. Literally, if you meet a big Patriots fan, they won't shut up about it. Like, that's just the way Patriots fans are. It's the whole Boston attitude. Again, in a city of much-loved sports teams, the Bruins, the Red Sox. The Red Sox are up there for sure, but I still think the Patriots are the most loved team in Boston. They're technically not in Boston. Alright, so move on to number 1. And I've got, everyone pretty much knows who it is at this point, the Green Bay Packers. So, smallest market, I don't think it's only the smallest market in football. I think it's the smallest market in all of sports. And obviously the only professional team in Green Bay. Also the only team that is majority owned by fans, and I think that's incredibly cool. I know a lot of friends that have stock in the Packers. Obviously, unless you bought a couple $1 million worth of stock, you probably own no more than like 0.01%. Maybe not even that much. But like I said, it's an incredibly cool fan base. Again, very unique, extremely passionate, and one of the biggest fan bases in the country as well. I mentioned this for the Steelers and the Patriots. I said 1 in 3 feel like would be a Patriots fan. 1 in 3 would probably be a Packers fan as well. I feel like it's about the same size as the Patriots fan base, but the loyalty is there bar none compared to really any team in the country, I think. I'm pretty sure the Lambeau would still be sold out game in and game out, even if the Packers were doing poorly. It's been a while since they were bad. Like I said, they've kind of had riches and quarterbacks the last really 15 years between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, even before that, really the last 20 years. But like I said, it's a very good fan base. It's a very loyal fan base. In my opinion, the best fan base in the country. So that concludes my first top 10. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this a daily thing. If you've got any ideas for videos for me to do, then put them in the description below. Like I said, I'm going to try to do top 10s related to really the hotter sports topics at the time. And yeah, like I said, you got anything, comment below. And that's pretty much it. See ya.